Hey everybody, I'm Andrew, and this is Digital Nomad Journey. This is where we support digital nomads and remote workers seeking the laptop lifestyle and being location independent. Welcome. I am starting a little bit later today than I normally do, but my intention is to go live for you for a live Q&A series every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, usually at 4 p.m. UK time. That's 11 a.m. Eastern and 8 a.m. Pacific. Today I had to start a little bit later. Had to get some work done with some clients, but happy to be here live for you nonetheless. So if you are here live, be sure to drop a comment or a question in the live chat right here beside me. This is something relatively new. This is only episode 9. I was inspired to go live because of various YouTubers and personalities and influencers that I follow, and happy to oblige and make myself available to any of you viewers out there who are looking to become digital nomads or to refine your digital nomadic lifestyle, to optimize it. I know it's a popular subject these days. It has been growing tremendously over recent years, and there's certainly a highlight on the nomadic virtual working living lifestyle ever since COVID-19. So I'm here to provide value and insight and help you any way I can. I've been a digital nomad for a good 2 years now. And I decided to roll out Digital Nomad Journey during the pandemic to help where I can. So I will be here 3 times a week live streaming for you, talking about various things. And today we're going to be talking about free accommodations. Where can you get free accommodations as a digital nomad or as a traveler, as a remote worker, and you are simply looking to perhaps live more of a minimalist lifestyle and want to travel, want to explore, want to see the world? I thought I would touch on this subject today because there might not be a lot of traveling going on right now, and I get it. Even as borders are starting to reopen, airports are reporting slowly increasing numbers. People are starting to be a little bit more comfortable around the idea of traveling. I'm seeing certain social media posts out there of people posting videos and pictures of them wearing their masks, and certain governmental agencies are issuing guidelines that traveling is starting to be allowed and relaxed. These limitations are being relaxed somewhat. I think it's important to get your ducks in a row, so to speak, right? Because just because you're not perhaps able to travel right now doesn't mean that you can't take steps right now to better prepare and set yourself up for a month from now, 2 months from now, 3 months from now, what have you, so that you'll be glad that you got all that prep, all that extra workout out of the way, so that you can start dream location, doing some dream building on some of those dream ideal locations that you want to experience firsthand. Because if you're anything like me, seeing a beach on Netflix might be nice, but I'd rather be there in person. And before we jump in, a quick reminder to let you know that you can get your free copy of Digital Nomad Lifestyle Guide at digitalnomadjourney.com/free book. You'll find the link in the description below. Totally free copy. It's a book that I launched this year, just recently, just probably a month ago, a couple months ago, to help the brand new digital nomad, brand new laptop lifestyle enthusiast to see where you what steps you need to take to increase your chances of success. I didn't have a book like this a couple years ago when I first booked my first one-way flight, and I certainly would have benefited if I had a book like this to turn to, or a channel like a Digital Nomad Journey to turn to. So once again, if you're here live, drop your questions in the live chat. And if you're watching the recorded version, I appreciate you. Thank you for being here and learning more about being a digital nomad. You can leave your comments and questions in the comment section below. I will answer every question I get. And if I don't have the answer, I promise I will get it for you. I am obsessed and committed with getting the very best content available to you. And I'm also posting regular interviews with various experts on the YouTube channel as well. In fact, I just finished editing a new one, and I'm going to get it out on the channel next week for you, probably Tuesday. Okay, so enough of that. Thanks for the housekeeping there, a little bit there. But yeah, the question is, where can a digital nomad find free accommodations? I'm going to talk about house sitting. I'm going to talk about house sitting because I have quite a lot of experience around house sitting. It's basically how I was able to see and visit 7 countries last year, and I was able to visit multiple locations in each of the countries. Basically because of house sitting. You can it probably doesn't take um, much imagination to understand that accommodations will usually result to being one of your higher expenses. And if you are traveling on a budget, if you are dealing with a lot of debt, if you have a limited income, what any one of those reasons or all of those reasons, house sitting is a fantastic way to provide a real value, a real service to the marketplace, while being able to have a safe place to stay, have a roof over your head, and you're going to be able to meet some wonderful people with similar interests, because you're probably going to be taking care of a fur baby. You're probably going to be taking care of a pet. And if you're taking care of a pet and they have pets, chances are you have something in common. And you're going to develop these wonderful friendships with people all over the world. And at least that's what happened to me. So I suspect that you would experience a similar situation. And I use a service called trustedhousesitters.com. You will find the link in the description below. I am an affiliate for trustedhousesitters.com, and I only promote products and services that I use myself, or that I have benefited from, or that I know brings value in the marketplace because my mentor or my colleagues or my friends have used them in the past. But in this situation, I have used trustedhousesitters.com for well over a year, and I have nothing but positive things that I can say about this. And so I thought it would make sense for me to do a live stream session on trustedhousesitters.com, and hopefully bring some insights and provide some value for you on this front. So if you like this kind of content, make sure you lightly tap that like button and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. I'm like I said, I'm always constantly posting helpful content for digital nomads and remote workers. So okay, Andrew, you said right now is a great time to prepare and get started, get yourself ready so that when you are able to travel. And the first thing you could do is go to the platform right now, click that link that I left for you in the YouTube description, and get your membership and your profile set up. This is something that you don't want to just throw together last minute, shall we say. This is something you want to put some effort into, right? Because you're essentially asking someone to trust you with their home, with their possessions, with their fur baby, with a member of their family. So this is something you want to put some real effort into. You want to I found trustedhousesitters.com did a really wonderful job of laying everything out to explain this is what you want to do. This is the kind of pictures we're looking for. But yeah, you want to include pictures of yourself doing different activities, different hobbies that you like. You want to include pictures of yourself with pets of your own or pets with other people. To show that you obviously clearly have an interest in pets. There's a lot of value in someone turning their home over to a complete stranger, because boarding their pet, their cat, their dog, what have you, in a kennel actually turns into quite a stressful situation for the pet. The pet doesn't know what's going on. The pet doesn't understand what's happening. The pet fears the worst, that they've been abandoned. And I've heard horror stories of situations where the owners come back to reclaim the pet, and the pet actually holds a grudge against the pet owners because the pet feels like they were abandoned. And there are other situations where you come back to a shell of your former animal. I'm not trying to scare anyone here, but unfortunately, there are situations where kennels don't exactly feed the pet the proper way, or perhaps the pet is just so stressed out that they can't eat normally because they feel like their family abandoned them. And so what a lot of pet owners have realized is that it's a much easier process for the animal if you can just leave them in their own environment, so they can sleep in their own bed and eat in their regular routine and run and play in their own yard or the nearby park. And these pet owners just realize that this is a no-brainer. And it's a win-win situation, because it's a win-win-win situation because the pet is happier. The homeowners and pet owners are leaving you with a trusted person because they're using this service called trustedhousesitters.com. So we're all vetted, we're all checked. There's security checks and whatnot when you go through when you're setting up your profile, you'll have the options to get verified. And the homeowner, the pet owner, is essentially reducing their risk by using this platform. It's a wonderful way to meet people, to meet like-minded people, to travel the world and completely drop your your travel expenses. Now, excuse me, there is pros and cons to this, right? Because now you can't just take off and go explore the nearby area for a few days on end because you have a pet that you have to take care of. You have a pet that you're responsible for. So maybe you can only leave the house for a couple hours at a time. It just depends on what kind of pet you're taking care of and how much need they require. Sometimes these pets have medical conditions. I've had situations where I was giving medication to pets. I was and in one house that I actually cared for two epileptic brother cats that were brothers. They never had a seizure while I was there, but I was trained by the homeowner on how to react in case they were to have a seizure. What else? I had a diabetic cat that required an insulin shot every 12 hours. So there are situations where you perhaps won't be able to have full reign of traveling, but the plus side is obviously you're not paying for accommodations, and in some instances you're actually staying in beautiful accommodations, beautiful places, massive resort type mansions, or a place with like an infinity pool with a beautiful view. And I'm not trying to, I don't want to give you the wrong impression, because there's going to be the other end of the spectrum too. You're also going to find accommodations that aren't the nicest, and it'll be harder to find those nicer accommodations in the beginning when you don't have any reviews. But we'll talk more about that in a second. Okay, I'm going to take a bit of a water break here. Okay, getting back on track here, Andrew, because I tend to, I'm a little bit passionate about this if you can't tell already. So the first thing you should do is set up that membership and put some real effort into it. This is your chance to make a good impression, because quite often these places, especially if it's a really nice place, they will have multiple applicants. And if you want to be chosen, you want to make sure that you have your profile and your membership set up the best way you can possible. The host is trusting you at the end of the day, and you want to make sure that you're putting your best foot forward. One thing that I do recommend is that I have done myself that I find valuable is I've actually filmed a video of myself, posted on YouTube, but made it unlisted, and then I include it in my profile. But then also when I apply, I include the link in my original message to say hello when I introduce myself, and it's sort of like, and by the way, if you want to see a YouTube video I made for you, to introduce myself, click on this link here. That way, the pet owner, the homeowner, will get a better sense of your personality, who you are, what you look like, what you sound like, and they'll feel like they kind of know you already, and so they'll have less apprehension around opening their home to you. So that's not required, and if you're not comfortable, if you don't feel comfortable in front of the camera, you don't have to do this, but it's a big help. It will help you out. Okay, because you also find it's a bit time consuming. You're going to see a lot of back and forth of messages going back and forth between you and the homeowner, and to really cut down on that time, it's going to be a perfect fit. You're looking for a place that's comfortable and in the right part of the world that you're looking for, and they're looking for someone that they can trust, right? So if you want to minimize on that back and forth, then just send them as much information as you can provide. That way they can quickly make an assessment whether you're a candidate or you're not a candidate. If you're not a good fit for them, you want them to make that decision right away, so that you don't waste your time on all the messages back and forth. So again, time is money at the end of the day. Time is finite, and I like to be smart with my time. So I recorded a video once, posted on YouTube once, and that's how I'm able to introduce myself over and over and over and over again to the various house sits and accommodations and properties that I wish to take care of. Okay, what's the second thing you can do? I advise to book some short-term nearby house sits right away, because you won't have, when you first start out, you won't have any referrals. You won't have any reviews. Sorry, is what it's called. You want to have any reviews, and much like Amazon or anywhere else, people like to look at the reviews to get a better sense of who you are and what kind of value you bring. So if you're able to, because like I said earlier, maybe where you're located, you're not able to do a lot of international travel, and that is okay, because you may be just brand new to this platform. So if you're able to book some short-term 2-day, 3-day house sits that are nearby, just in your neighborhood, in your street, or a short travel away, then it's not going to require a lot of time on your part to get these house sits in order, get them scheduled, get them hosted, get them done, and then hopefully you can get a positive review from the homeowner, right? And we're going to talk more about that in a second. So if you're enjoying this, I hope you are. I put a lot of thought into house sitting, and if you think that this is a possible option for you, please let me know. Okay, so number two. Well, I should say the next point that we should talk about is what kind of questions do you want to ask the homeowner. So the number one question, the very first question I have here is there a spare key hidden outside? And if not, can there be? So you probably don't need to use your imagination that much to wonder why that's the very first question that I have. But yeah, I did lock myself out of a house sit once. Many times they'll tell you of a neighbor or a family member or a friend nearby that has a key, and if not, a lot of them will have a key hidden outside. And if not, then you perhaps can maybe convince them to hide one outside. So that is number one. I want you to think of that if you're thinking about house sitting. And oh, I should just quickly mention too, trustedhousesitters.com is not the only platform out there. There's plenty of platforms out there. When I did my research, I was able to determine that trustedhousesitters.com is the most internationally wide accepted platform, most used platform. It's very concentrated and very popular in the UK, but you'll find it in Canada, the US, and Spain, and Australia. You'll find it everywhere. Now, there are other platforms that are perhaps more popular in other parts of the world, but when I first set out to be a digital nomad, I didn't want the platform to restrict me in any way. So if you have the same global goals and desires that I did, then you might want to give trustedhousesitters.com a try. It's not, I couldn't tell you if they're the most expensive out there. I know they're not the cheapest. There are cheaper platforms out there, but again, I didn't want the platform to limit my travel options. If I want to go to Croatia, for instance, I want a platform that will hopefully have some house sits available in Croatia. So sorry, I should have said that sooner, but I just wanted to quickly share that you don't have to go to trustedhousesitters.com if you don't want to, if it doesn't feel right. I really enjoyed their interface. I really enjoyed their look, their feel. Anytime I contacted their support, they always responded, and they were quick at responding. These are all things that I care about. So make sure you look at all the different options out there and pick what's going to work for you. And if you think trustedhousesitters.com is a good option for you, again, the link is in the description below. Okay, so here are the questions that you should ask no matter what platform you choose. Number one, we already talked about that. Number two, what is the garbage and recycling schedule? If you're doing some longer house sits, maybe if you're doing like a 2 or 3 day house sit, like I just mentioned, you probably won't need to worry about this. But a lot of house sits I do are quite long term, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, a couple months. And you're going to want to run the household like they run the household. And you're going to be producing garbage and recycling when you get there. You're going to want to make sure that you have a good understanding of what the schedule is. And what I found is a really good host will have everything laid out to you in either a binder, a physical binder in the house, or on the platform. Now, this is trustedhousesitters.com specific. I don't know if other platforms do something similar, but they'll have a welcome package where that includes all kinds of information in the welcome package, and that would be one of the pieces of information that would be included in that. So you would just log into Trusted House Sitters, and you'd go to the welcome package to access information like that. But because not all hosts actually fill in the application or fill in the welcome package, I like to have it on my list of questions to ask when I schedule a house sit. Number three, where's the main house water shutoff? There are many insurance policies out there that will dictate that if a property is left empty for at least a month and there's a burst pipe, the insurance policy is left void. This is another reason why homeowners and pet owners prefer to have a house sitter in the property, so that if there were ever to be a catastrophic pipe failure, that their insurance policy would actually still be in force. You can imagine the massive expense and headaches involved if the insurance company was able to find out that the property was left empty for a few months and then there was a burst pipe, and how much damage would result because of that. So sometimes you're doing a house sit and there's not even a pet there to take care of. They literally just need someone in the property. Those are rare, but you will find those. So always make sure that you can get access to the water shutoff. I've never had to use that once, but you'd rather ask and not need it than need it and not ask. Number four, where similar along the lines of the previous question, where's the power box, fuse box? I have needed this. Even though I've only been house sitting for a little over a year, there have been power outages. And so not only will you want to know where the power fuse box is to turn the fuse back on, but there might also be devices in the household that will need to be reset. So these are all things that you want to take into consideration, and these are the kinds of things that you don't want to think about in the moment, in the event. You want to have all this stuff organized in your head, and ideally you're meeting the host before they leave. They can walk you around the property and they can show you where all these things are. At the very bare minimum, I do ask the homeowner if there is no direct handover. I ask them to walk around the property, filming a video with their mobile phone, and showing me where the water shutoff is, showing me where the fuse box is, so that when I finally do arrive on the property, I could watch the video again and refresh myself where everything is, where the dog food is kept, and all of those things. Again, you'll trust me when I say you're going to want to know this information ahead of time, because if you're in the property and the power goes out and you're already in a property that you're not familiar with, it's going to be really hard to determine where everything is, and it's going to be hard to reach your homeowner if they're on holiday, right? All right. Woo. What's the next questions? Number 5. Where's the gas shut off? I've needed this one as well. I was busy working away on my computer when there was a knock on the door. It was a beautiful mansion of a property I was staying in, and the gardener knocks on the door and tells me, I just nicked a gas line by digging in the garden. Please come take a look. Oh no. So rushed outside. Yep, he nicked a gas line. And before I knew it, he was out of there. I guess he had another client or something. He had to leave. And then I was left there. So I was in this massive property, did some quick troubleshooting, was able to isolate the correct valve. There were multiple gas valves, one to the garage, one to the house, one to the outside patio. And I was able to isolate the correct valve, shut it off. Then I wrapped the broken pipe with some tape to keep the moisture out, in order to minimize any moisture damage for the homeowner when they returned home. I took pictures, I documented everything, and I sent everything to the homeowner who was skiing in Italy. And the homeowner was completely blown away, completely bent over backwards, recognized that I bent over backwards, and went to the nth degree to watch over his property, and he felt grateful and reassured, and just felt elated that he had someone watching over his property as if it was his own property, right? Like, and that's how I treat my house sits. That you're in someone's home, and you want to think of what you would do in this situation if it was your property. So I ended up getting a massive positive review from that homeowner, because they were very grateful with what I was able to do. I was able to put my work aside, even though I was really busy at the time, and it took an hour out of my day to take care of the problem, and then I was able to get back to my business. So you want to know where those gas shutoffs are? Trust me. Where's the Wi-Fi router? Okay, when you're a digital nomad, when you are a remote worker, you need to know where the router is, because sometimes you need to reset the device. Sometimes you get Wi-Fi problems, and I'm sure you've been there. You need to know where that is to unplug it for 10 seconds, plug it back in, or hit the power button, hit the reset button. And sometimes if you're in a major property, it is really hard to find that router. So make sure you know where that router is. Number 7, where can I get more pet food if I run out? This has also happened to me, where they just miscalculated, thought they left enough pet food, and they didn't. And in some cases, their pets are receiving very specialized hyperallergenic food, hyperallergenic. Am I saying that word right? Food, and you don't want to mess with your pet's digestion system, obviously, because you're going to be the one cleaning it up if you change anything. So and you want to do your very best job. So again, sometimes it can be a little bit difficult to reach your home, your hosts in a quick fashion, because they might not have cell service, or they might be skiing or scuba diving or what have you. I was able to reach them in time, because I could tell that the food was running out, and they gave me the proper information to get to the pet food, but to get some more pet food. Usually, hosts plan ahead and they leave you enough food. Okay, 4 more questions. Is there an emergency contact nearby? Is there a family member? Is there a trusted neighbor? I haven't had to need this yet, with one exception of needing a key to get inside because I locked myself out, uh, uh, which still makes me laugh, but in the moment it's really stressful. But yeah, this is just prudent. This is just sensible. You don't know if something doesn't go how you might think it will, and it's just prudent to have emergency contact. So just always make sure you have someone locally that you can contact if the worst happens. Number 10, where is a nearby coffee shop with reliable Wi-Fi? Have a backup. If you are not able to fix an internet issue and you are a virtual freelancer, or a digital nomad, or a remote employee, your ability to bring value to the marketplace is severely affected if you can't get online. So always have a backup, and then have a backup for the backup. Number 11, do you have a coffee machine? Don't judge. Don't judge. I'm a coffee drinker. I have it's part of my daily process, my daily ritual. And there's plenty of people out there who don't drink coffee, so you have to plan ahead for those instances, right? So I like to know if my host has a coffee machine, a coffee maker. And then finally, number 12, am I able to send and receive mail? Again, I like doing longer term house sits. In the beginning, you might want to just do a few short term ones and get those positive reviews under your belt, and then move on. But if you're somewhere long term, you might want to receive mail on Amazon. You might want to be able to send some mail yourself. And I haven't had one host tell me no yet. Everyone's been able to be very accommodating on that under that circumstance, and I think hosts for the most part understand why. And I haven't had any problems with that. Okay, so that's it for the questions. And really quickly too, I should quickly actually jump back to this. If you're just joining us, or if you're watching the recording, I actually go deeper in this subject in this book, Digital Nomad Lifestyle Guide. So make sure you grab your free copy today, and you're going to find some more detailed information on house sitting, and specifically the trustedhousesitters.com platform there. Some last points here before we wrap things up, because I know I've already been going for a while here, is make sure you're easily reachable. Again, they found you on this platform, and they know that you're a trusted source. But if they want to see a picture of their fur baby, their animal, their pet that they miss, it's a good idea to be proactive and just take some pictures, take some videos of their pets, and send it to them. Even if they don't say that specifically, they'll probably appreciate it. I've always heard positive feedback from that. And if they do text you about anything, make sure you're mindful to be responding in a timely manner. Again, think of it, reverse the situation. If this was your home and your pet, you're going to want to hear back from them, right? So you're going to want to hear back from your sitter in a time efficient way as well. And I'm not saying jump out of bed in the middle of the night if they text you, but yeah, be reasonable. Don't let them hanging on their messages. Ask if they would like you to pick anything up for them. This is something I came up with while I was house sitting, because all of a sudden it dawned on me that, they haven't been home for over a month. Maybe they would appreciate having some milk in the fridge, or some fresh fruit, some milk, some bread, some food items, so that when they come home after their long journey, they're not rushing to the store right away. Maybe they have a child. Maybe they want to be able to put their feet up and relax being home. They'll be really, even if they thank you but say no thanks, they'll really appreciate that you even thought of that. Okay, and there's a law called the law of reciprocity that I'm a big fan of, and I think that goes a long way. Don't cancel on a house sit after it's booked. This is a big one. I've seen multiple people complain about this online and on the platform, because more often than not, they've gone through a lot of work and screening to pick you, and perhaps even picked you over a lot of other candidates. And then if you go ahead and cancel the house sit a week before or a day before, that puts them in a very stressful situation, because again, they're turning over their loved one, their family member, their property to a stranger. And they might have certain requirements, or certain training, certain coaching, certain explanations they want to give the sitter before turning over the property to them. So you're putting them in a really tough spot. Now I understand it if there's an emergency, a family emergency, and if you had to explain that to them, I'm sure they would understand too. But try to avoid canceling a booking at all cost, because you do run the risk of creating a bad name for yourself in on that platform or in the industry, or getting a terrible review or something along those lines, right? So try your very best. Try your best. And then finally, leave a small thank you. I like to leave a card at the minimum, or maybe a card and some flowers, or maybe a little chocolate of some kind, because they're coming back home. It's their castle, it's their domain, and they probably miss being in their own bed. And you want to recognize the fact that they chose you over perhaps a lot of other people. So and it's all of these tips, all of these strategies, all these methods that I just shared with you, that actually have hosts to this day. They still contact me, they still message me and say, hey Andrew, are you available for da 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 such and time? And it's because I feel like I left a really good impression on them, and they now want to experience that again. They want to turn their property over again to someone that know, like, and trust. Oftentimes, you've probably heard that before, that people only do business with you if they know, like, and trust you. So that is all I have for you today. Let's go for have a quick look at the chat. It doesn't look like I have any questions or feedback today, which is okay. I'm still committed to going live for you 3 times a week. Here we go. 3 times a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, usually at 4 p.m. UK time, 11 a.m. Eastern, and 8 a.m. Pacific. I appreciate you. Thank you for watching live, or if you're here watching the recording. And I hope to see you Monday. And if you are here watching the recorded version of this, you might want to check out these YouTube videos right here, because the YouTube algorithm seems to think you will find them helpful as well. My name is Andrew. This is Digital Nomad Journey. Own the day and make it yours. Take care.